Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Next Rank YouTube channel with Johnny and Jack. Today we've got a bit of a special one for you because we're going to take a look at some games that just happened in the recent NA Regional containing a lot of demos. Those of you who did watch the Regional and didn't get distracted by all of the extracurricular activities that were going on mine and CJ streams will already maybe know who this is. But for those of you who don't, it's Kofer. Kofer, well, he won the Regional with Space Station, aka Shui Station Gaming, and they did it in dominant fashion. They 4-0'd Ultimates in the grand final. They looked unbelievable. Some would say this is a team that NA's been missing for a long time, Jack, but we can talk about that during the replays. We're going to watch game one of their first series against the Ultimates, and then we're going to watch game one of their grand final series against the Ultimates. Two times, Kofer against the Ultimates in game one opened with 7 demos, which is insane to do in RLCS in any series, but to do it at this level, Jack, just how hard is that? Because I know a lot of people will call this cringe. Oh, boo! My favorite team, my favorite player's getting demoed. I hope he respawns. But you know, how difficult is this to do in RLCS?
Yeah, it's hard. It's look, if you're going for demos, it would be hard to get 7 anyway if you're just purely going for demos, but it's hard to get 7 demos and also get a lot of impact on the ball, a lot of score per game, which of course doesn't mean everything, but it does show your impact at least here and there, and give you some sort of insight on who's playing well. So Kofa managing to get 7 demos in these games, but also playing very well on the ball, playing very impactful is really impressive. We wanted to record this video to help you guys understand how to better your game in terms of your demos, and the spots you should be going for them, how exactly you should be going for them. And Kofa really does that very well, Johnny. He specifically does it in situations where it's not dangerous for his team. There are a couple of times in this video where he starts chasing someone and spawn killing. We'll get onto that later, where it could be argued it's a little bit crazy, but he does it in a very good amount of positions where it's not overcommitting at all. So we're going to take a look at that.
Yeah, he's already been going for quite a few, and he does finally land one. You know, maybe LJ there was trying to psych him out, not moving, because pros are obviously very good at dodging demos. They like to weave as they move around the pitch. They don't try not to move predictably, try not to flip at bad times, because when you flip, you're just wide open to demos, and they'll either jump or sometimes not jump, just sit still, anticipating the opponent jumping to try and demo them. So it is really, really hard for Kofer to get any demos at pro level. It's hard to get any. If you guys were just in this lobby trying to only demo people, it would be extremely difficult to even get a bump on anyone at any point during the game.
Yeah.
Because the pros are so elusive and they're so fast at this level. But there's a good snipe there from Kofer.
Yeah.
Quick one that he just notices the opponent cannot avoid. He's up to 3, I think, in this game already. And one of the other takeaways, apart from timing and looking out for opportunities, one of the things you guys need to pay attention for is the times where he is lurking upfield hunting. It's mostly, and I say mostly because Kofer, like Jack said, will eventually in this video he will just stay upfield permanently.
Yeah.
But he does it mostly when both of his teammates are back and both of them are ready to either challenge the ball one after another if the opponents have it, or make a play on the ball and then the second player can follow up. That's when he's actually staying upfield. Here he's rotating back because Reveal's ahead of him. Reveal's also upfield, so he doesn't want to leave Scribbles on an island in defense. You guys can also just take that straight into your own game. If you're playing threes, don't stay up when only one of your teammates is back. You've just left your teammate on an island. You want to rush back in that instance.
Yeah, you'll notice I paused there just to kind of show that he starts turning upfield as well when his teammate has a solo play. Okay, so obviously in your guys' rank, your teammates aren't going to have as good of solo players as Kova's teammates here in the air specifically, but they can on the ground. They can control the ball on the ground a lot very well going into a counter attack, and those are the times where Kova would push up for a demo because he knows that if his teammate passes to him, there's a chance it's a good play, but there's also a chance that he passes to him and it's taken 2 players out if the pass gets intercepted from our team with only 1 player from the other team, okay? So he prefers to kind of take that solo play route for his teammates and force them into going solo for him to go for the bump, open up the space. And yeah, we see it time and time again that he starts to inch up when his teammates have a free ball. But like Johnny said, when he's rotating back, he will look for those bumps, look for those demos around that midfield line. If he has two teammates in a good position behind him, he'll go for it again here after making his play. That's very important to note, that whenever he gets a play forward, as soon as he's done, it's the lack of hesitation, it's that decisiveness that is really kind of putting together these chances for him to go for the bumps. He's not thinking about, should I go for the ball again? Should I try and go back here? It's make my play forward. Who can I bump around me? Okay, so that's really what we're looking out for you guys to do in your games, because it does make a big difference, not only in the impact you have in terms of demos, but also, Johnny, it makes the flow of rotation a little bit easier for both you and your team to understand. If I see my teammate, as soon as they make a play forward down the pitch, they're just going forward again for a bump, I know when they're going to leave the ball. I know they're kind of pathing naturally, and it makes it very easy. You'll see a demo like that. As soon as first clear is landing, he can no longer change his path. That's when he goes for the bump. So when players are landing or flipping, those are the two situations in Rocket League where your opponents can no longer change their path of how they're moving, and those are the best times to go for bumps because, they can't avoid them, basically.
Yeah, sir. I was laughing a moment ago because he did go completely all in at the near post to just look for Chronic in the goal, just flipped as well.
Yeah, I saw that. I was actually going to talk about that one,
It's maybe less advisable because it's so all in. He landed really badly. The majority of the time you'll notice that he's recovering quickly off of his demos. He's demoing and he's hitting opponents at supersonic so he can get back fast. Now, remember, though, context-wise, this is the first game that they played Ultimates in this regional. It was right here. So this is a bad recovery off a demo because not only is he's fully flipping into this really speculatively and landing on his nose on the wall. So this is probably one of the ones you don't want to try at home unless you're really confident your teammate is. I mean, this looks like his teammate's right behind him about to shoot the ball because you'll see this, and this is viable if you've got a 2v1 position in 2v2 or just a straight up 2v1 position in general. You can just go fully all in for the goalie here. It doesn't even matter if you hit them. If your teammates are right behind you about to take a shot, you just want to keep the goalie out of the way. So that's what this looks like, except in this position the team doesn't even have the ball, so you might not know that. You might think that there's a shot option. I can't remember if he had POV on that, but
no, I don't think he does.
This one's just probably just a tilt Chronic, I guess. He just wants to annoy him.
He doesn't even, when you get in the zone. I think when you get in the zone of hitting so many demos, you do try and push yourself a little bit to get an extra one. I think that's all this is. I do think it's a mistake. That's the when I was actually watching this replay for the first time, not even in preparation for this video, I was just watching how he demos basically, and I was surprised that he went for that, and I was thinking, probably not the best for you guys because Kofa's recovery wasn't the best, and that's one of the players that has some of the best recoveries in the game currently. So if Kofa's recovery in that situation wasn't the best, then, lower ranked players are going to recover even worse. They're going to be stuck in the goal for about 5 seconds there. But game 1, 7 demos, Johnny, and it really does highlight the situations, the positions where he's going for the demos, how he's recovering, and also, he's actually having a lot of impact on the ball still, decently enough to get, over 300 score per game, a couple of saves, a lot of shots. So it's he's still playing very, very well, in the other kind of aspects on the pitch. But let's go into the first game of the following day. Can he replicate it over the course of 2 days, Johnny, or is this just a one-off in the series? Let's have a look.
Okay, guys, grand final, game 1. So we're back on Manfield Night for game 1. And if you were wondering, if you're thinking to yourself, I wonder if Space Station will be able to replicate that performance, will go for the same playstyle in the grand final, because the last time that they played a grand final, they did not look anywhere near as confident, which was fair enough. It was their first grand final as a trio. It was actually the last event in NA, event 5, where they played against NRG and they got swept. But they dominated Ultimates over the course of the last series of the produced game 1 that we just watched, and they also dominated this one as well. So this was an insane performance from them. Ultimates, who just destroyed the 2-time regional champions NRG in the previous round, were looking good on the day, but they just don't have they either don't have the play style to match well against Space Station, or they just don't have the matchup at the moment. Sometimes a matchup will just sway one way with confidence or form, Right now, Space Station have definitely got that, and I think it is a large part due to what we're seeing from Kofor. You guys might be
Yep.
thinking that we're just trying to hype this up, but no,
No.
seriously, this is he does seem to really be onto something with Ultimates and just in general in NA right now.
Well, I think it's in the world, Johnny. You know, I think that demos are actually becoming more and more of a important aspect of the game, which is quite interesting. Again, I don't want to pause too much, but just to highlight this, when your opponents are flipping, as always, you will always just be able to see. So don't keep your eyes glued on the ball. That's the biggest tip for this video. Don't keep your eyes glued on the ball. Keep them darting around side to side to see who's flipping. Anyway, back to my original point. I think in the world, it's becoming more and more important for demos. I think we see KC being very bump heavy, at least in my opinion, this season. Atau specifically going for a lot of demos. And it just opens up that space. And players are just getting way better at recovering. Every time Kofa goes down the wall, Johnny, in this video, and in every game he plays, basically, I'll tell you that, he wave dashes every single time. And I know it's not, okay, well, he's just wave dashing, but he does it very well, especially coming down the wall where you have to get a type of kind of, what's the word called? Curve dash? Is that what people call it when they come down the wall?
All right, so he's using this. This is like a Halfway Dead. So I like to credit Halfway Dead whenever we talk about this.
Yeah.
Halfway Dead kind of discovered this years ago, where you get that like same wobble effect that gives you the wave dash setup. So I've been like so focused on demos, I didn't even notice this, so that's a good pick.
I'll point it out next time he does it, but he did one in this game a couple minutes ago. But yeah, every single time, it is hard to do. Every single time he does it, and it's because he can recover faster. It's because he can obviously pick up his speed fast enough to get supersonic for that demo. I think Kofa is one of the fastest, if not the fastest moving player in North America and in general in the regionals. A lot of his series, or at least some of his series that I've seen, he's moving at 1710 speed, Johnny, which you'll know is very fast. The 1650 is really fast. 1710 is extremely quick. Anything above 1600, you're getting into the territory of being above the average speed, I'd say. A lot of players moving around 1550 to 1580, but so 1710, he's moving extremely quick. He's keeping up his speed all the time. It's allowing him to go for these types of demos. So it is really important to note that is one very tough thing that you guys will have to work on if you want to get better or get as good at demoing as Kofa is. You have to keep up your speed. Johnny, I'm just going to talk about this real quick. Again, it's just every single time where he isn't the main person to go for the ball next when clearing out of defense. I'm counting this as defense because the ball's about to be flicked into our half and we're going to have to clear it out or take time here. So every time that he's not the main player that is about to deal with the situation, like here, he's just going for the bumps. Okay, so every single time when you have a teammate behind you ready facing forward, you are allowed to dive through challenges for those demos. Now, Johnny, a lot of people watching this video will go, well, it's all great that we know this. I can't trust my teammates behind. Do you have anything, in your eyes that can kind of help with that? Or is it just not true that they can trust their teammates behind them ranked a little bit more than they think?
Yeah, you just have to.
Hang on, hold that thought.
Oh, look at it. Yeah, that 3. So he's going for 4 as well. Yeah, that's what we talked about earlier in the video, where you just really hunted down first killer, going 3 times. That spawn demo is absurd as well. So phenomenal stuff by Kofor here. And first killer's going back. He's not happy about how things are going. On the trust thing, very important that you just try to give your teammates, like Jack said, a little benefit of the doubt, because if you, especially if you're in threes, one of the biggest mistakes that players will make when they're rotating back in threes is they'll cut their teammates off and play the ball because they think, oh, I can get to the ball, so I will, because that's about as deep as most Rocket League players' strategy goes. I can hit ball, therefore I will. But if, you don't have to play the ball when you're recovering. You can just, like Kofor does, go for demos on your way back, and that's another way that you can help your teammates defend. If you're not able to immediately, his first killer looks like he's still chasing. Go back and watch the triple or it was triple, right? Yeah, go back and watch that. Yeah, that's unreal. We've got to know that if you can't play the ball, if you can't put a challenge in, but there are supporting players, you can go for a demo on them as well. Actually, I think one of our earliest videos on this channel, we talked about this. What would you do in this situation? Go look for that video. I might actually look up the title right now while we continue waffling. There's lots of different ways you can trust your teammates while going for demos. That's one of them, is when you're recovering, just going for demos. But the other one we talked about earlier, Jack, is the you leading with demos. Like the one bad demo that Kofor went for in the last game would have been great if he's in a 2v1 with a teammate who's ready to shoot. In that position, you're relying on your teammate to shoot at a good time. So you've got to try and land the demo at the right moment. This is just unbelievable. That flip from first goal is definitely not the smartest. But look at the timing from Kofor on the triple demo. That's something you guys need to probably work on as well. I mean, he really did know exactly when and where first goal was going to be.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I think a very cool thing to note as well is that one thing that can help you guys understand situations like this, where Kofor's jumping for this demo on LJ in case I think LJ jumps. Maybe he's also predicting him jumping over the demo attempt, or jumping for the ball for the challenge on reveal. I think he was on the ball here. So he's going for LJ with a flip here to try and catch him out. But I think one thing for you guys to note a lot of the time is to think about what the other players on the other team are seeing on their camera right now. And that will dictate whether you think they're about to jump over your demo or just be completely clueless. Now, I guarantee that LJ, has ball cam on, because, of course, he has ball cam on. Why would you not in this situation? So whenever the ball is very high, or especially, Johnny, when the ball is crossing the opponent's net and a player on the other team is kind of in the corner behind the ball a little bit, they're going to have ball cam on, and that creates a lot of blind spots. When the ball is very high, their camera is going high across the pitch, and that isn't allowing them to see the players on the ground as easy, especially not players behind them. They're too focused, they're too tunnel visioned in. That is the spot where you can go for these types of demos and not have to worry about your opponent trying to jump over you, trying to avoid you and things like that, because they're just too focused on other things. So keep that in mind when you're going around the pitch and you're looking out on who to demo. That could be an easy way to figure out, can I get this player or not? But leading on from your point, Johnny, about the kind of trust in your teammates, I just want to point out that I guess you don't have to think about it too much, because what Kofor is doing, if you're playing exactly like Kofor, which I'd be very impressed if you do, but if you are, you're not exactly taking your positioning out of the equation for your team, unless you're going for that triple demo kind of style of play. But if you're just going for bumps on your way back to defense, a lot of the time you're actually timing your defense arrival very well. If you guys have watched the channel a lot of the time over the last few months, you'll hear us talk about getting back to defense too early. Now, that is a very important thing that a lot of you guys can work on. Getting back to defense too early is actually one of, in my opinion, the worst mistakes that players make often in this game, because they have to then kill all their momentum. They have to kind of rotate in a circle to get back into the position they want to. And it's a lot more awkward. Johnny, Kofor doesn't do that. He gets into position very, very well, because he's taking a little bit longer to get back when he has two teammates in defense, because he's going for those demos. So it's nothing to worry about too much if you're thinking my teammates can't handle the situation behind me, because you're not really taking yourself out of the play too much with this kind of style.
All right, guys, so that was Kofor's super impressive demo performances, super impressive overall performance as well.
Yeah.
Like Jack said, it's not just about the demos. These guys are legit. Space Station Gaming, congrats to them on the regional win. They look unreal and really fun to watch. Like one of my most fun teams to watch.
Same.
If you like aggressive play, if you like physical play, then you're gonna love watching them. If you think the physical plays are cringe, then you're not gonna like watching them. But that's okay. You're entitled to your opinion. We briefly touched on that, or Jack briefly touched on during this video, the speed stats for Kofor, and I did want to go and check that, but we've got the demo stats for you as well here, just in closing. Kofor, 4.23 demos per game across the whole regional. Next highest was another player who's very well known for demos in Rettles with 2.46, and then we got Kofor's teammate Reveal with 2.32. So it's not just Kofor, it's also the whole team's getting involved. And as for speed, indeed, he was the average fastest player in the event. Now, average speed is not the be all and end all. If you just show your teammates at the end of your rank session, well, actually I was fastest, so therefore I'm the best player, you're probably missing a lot. But it's not irrelevant in this context. A lot of players need to work on just their overall speed in game, and getting demos is one aspect to that, but getting to the ball first, getting back quickly to help out your teammates, getting forward,
speed in the right moments. So that's very important to kind of point out.
Yeah, we need to work on our speed and just maintain momentum, have better boost management. It's all tied together, and that enables Kofor to get more from every time that he's contacting an opponent, and every time that he's getting a touch, it's probably a demo. It's not a bump. We're not one of those awkward bumps where you both kind of just hit each other and bounce off, and then nobody's happy. So that is a really big takeaway here. If you have already bought the next rank, there are lots of videos in there about demos. We've got much more in depth than we've gone in this video. This is we're just scratching the surface here of what you guys can get up to. Hopefully, inspire some more demo mains. But check out the course for demos while you're rotating back more in detail. Tackling from behind, demos while you center the ball. We've also, for you guys think demos are cringe, got some videos about avoiding demos, demo evasion specifically. We've got drive ahead demos, we've got demos involved in kickoffs, of course. We would prioritize that. And even some aerial bumps and demos as well, and the classic air dribble bumps and demos. We really do think that demos are a massive part of the game, which is why we've made so many videos in the course about them, why we're making this video on the YouTube channel about them, and this seemed like the perfect time to do it, with Kofor getting 2 exterminators in 2 games against one of the best teams in the world.
Absolutely, guys. Check it all out, of course, at thenextrank.com. Check out all of our other YouTube videos, and make sure you drop a like, make sure you drop a sub to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.